Hello everybody and welcome back to Nerdy Miniatures. And in today's video we are doing yet another base tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create an icy, snowy base fit for your miniatures. So if you want to see how it's done, then just keep on watching. So to start, you're going to want to prime your base. You can use any miniature base primer. I used Citadel spray paint in grey cere and sprayed one coat and left it to dry for 15 minutes until it was fully set. So to start, we're going in with the colour Sotek Green. Despite the name, this is actually a beautiful turquoisey colour, which is exactly what I was looking for. I then added a couple drops of water to this and covered the entire base. Now, this is important. Whilst it is still wet, we are going to go in with our next colour. So going in with Lothern Blue and that same brush, I then swirled that paint through the colour until I was satisfied with the payoff. Repeating that same step again with the lighter shade, I went in with Blue Horror and dotted and swirled it around until I was happy with how it looked. At this point I had to leave it with plenty of time to dry. This did take a while as the paint layers made it rather thick, but it's very important that you let it fully dry before you move on to any further steps. Now to paint the edge of the base. For this I used the colour Sotek Green again and swept it around the rim until it was fully covered to make sure there was no grey cere poking through. Once it was dry, it was time to move on to the fun stuff, UV resin. You can get this off Amazon really cheap, so if you want to know how to use it, just buy it off of there. I applied a large drop of UV resin to the base and using the back of a pair of tweezers, I spread this out. Once I was satisfied with the coverage, I used the UV light pen to cure the resin. This takes about 10 to 15 seconds to do. I ended up having to apply a little bit more as there was a little gap, so this did end up creating a bump, but it worked out in the end because I was able to cover this later on. Now, this was looking a little bit too perfect, so it was time to scuff up the surface. To do this, I used the Army Painter miniature and model files to scuff up the resin and make it look less perfect. Once I was satisfied with the appearance, I swept off the dust and I was ready to apply the snow. Going in with the technical paint Valhallan Blizzard, I applied it to the surface of the base. There is no technique to this, I simply applied it to the base where I felt it looked good and left it to dry. In total, this took about 2 hours to fully set. It will take less time if you apply a thinner coat, but the thicker you apply the product, the longer it will take to set. You could also build this up in layers if you wanted to, that is completely your choice. So keep that in mind if you want to do this. Now for the final steps. I went in with the colour Ardcoat and covered the base to create a wet and icy appearance. You can also use a varnish to do this or a varnish spray. I just recommend not using a matte one as it won't help with the shine. Off camera, I then decided to experiment a little bit and I got a knife and decided to score the top of the base ever so slightly. You can use a scalpel to do this, but please be careful when doing this and mind your fingers. But in the end, ended up creating a really cool effect. That is it. That is how you paint an ice base. If you like how this turned out, then please leave a comment down below on any tutorials you'd like me to do in the future. And of course, you can always have fun with this and you can add blood and do other things to it to make it look a little bit more battle-torn. Down in the description, you will find 2 links. The first to Mr. Nerd's channel, so if you enjoy MMOs and action RPGs, then might I recommend giving that a watch. And if you enjoy all things Lord of the Rings and fantasy, then might I recommend taking a look at my channel, where I cover things like Tolkien, Game of Thrones, and of course Warhammer. So if that is more your cup of tea, which I can assume it is if you're watching this video, then feel free to take a look at that also. Anyway, that'll be it from me today. Hope you guys have a wonderful day or night, wherever you are in the world. As always, peace out, guys.